I'm Craig Lockard, the CEO of AutoMax Recruiting and Training, AutoMax Hire, and the AutoMax Talent Network, and I want to go a little bit further on salespeople. Are they born or built? And I want to go right back to judge a book by its cover. I know that we probably all have that story about judging a book by its cover and being wrong. When AutoMax brings on new independent contractor recruiter trainers, it's part of the thing that we talk about, because it's one of the first things we teach new salespeople is not to judge a book by its cover. And we always use a story from our past to illustrate that. Mine's a real quick one. Back in long time ago, when the first Ohio lottery $1 million winner came aboard, that's what this story is all about. Young woman walks in the dealership one day, huge dealership. I was the general manager of this dealership. I was 29 years old. We had 50 salesmen. This place was decked out. I had greeters and so forth. This young, very attractive young girl walks in, no shoes on, Daisy Dukes, the whole 9 yards, walks around one Corvette that I had on the showroom floor. No one helps her. Long story short, she leaves, comes back in the next day with this blue Corvette. I see the receptionist point up to my office. I put my head down and go, I know what's going to happen next. She comes up, says, I was here yesterday. I said, I know, and no one waited on you. Turns out she was the first $1 million lottery winner in the state of Ohio. And I know we all have that story. You know, Joe Girard, who's in the Guinness Book of World Records, was fired from his first job. You know, we can't make those judgments. We teach our salespeople about not judging clients, but what do we do during that initial hiring process? We judge those people on the way they look or the way they handle that interview. You have no idea of where that person came from. A quick story happened to me years ago when I first started AutoMax. I was in Akron, Ohio, at a long-time client of ours. Every salesperson I had interviewed, recruited, and trained, most of the managers, I either did the same or they had worked for me in the past. So we'd pretty much run this dealership. There was a long line of people waiting to see me. This young kid comes in, sits down, he's got Doc Martens on, pants halfway down to here, you know, clip-on tie down to here, his belt hanging, you know the guy. Wouldn't look me in the face. Now this young kid had been kicked out of his home. His mother had kicked him out of his home when he was 14 years old. Literally, not figuratively, literally lived on the streets of Akron, Ohio, graduated from high school and enlisted in the military. Did his tour, came out of the military, his buddies took him out for his first night home. They all got plastered drunk. He ended up driving. He had 2 drinks, and I believe him, he had 2 drinks, gets pulled over, he gets arrested, gets a DUI. This kid, during the interview, couldn't even look me in the eyes, but I saw something about him, and this kid lived in a box and graduated from high school. I put him in a class. By the end of that week, he was given the Most Improved Student of the Week award by the other 15 people in that classroom. Dealer doesn't hire him because of the driver's license. Friend of mine. Dealer calls him back 3 weeks later because a person left that he had hired. I gave him a little bit of a hard time about this kid and kind of a told you so attitude. This young kid then went on to excel, made $47,000. Now this is 16 years ago, made $47,000 his first year selling cars. But we judge that book by its cover. And you can't do that. You can't do that. This job interview, that initial hire, there might not be anything more important that you're going to do at that dealership that day than take a look at that talent that you're going to surround yourself with and make sure that talent exceeds you. You should surround yourself with people that are potentially greater than you. You know, if you help someone else be successful, success will come back to you. We've all heard it before, and it's very, very true. So don't judge the book by its cover. You're typically going to be wrong. And that's all I got today. Thanks a lot for listening.